Kia ora everyone, day 23 is in the books. 5 trades, 3 wins, 2 losses and a small green day. I started strong, but then let bad habits creep in. I held a losing trade too long, missed key entries and hesitated on the best stock of the day. Today I'm breaking down exactly what happened, what I need to work on moving forward, so let's get into it. So my first trade today was on APVO. APVO started, actually if I bring it up on the chart maybe. So when I woke up this morning and turned on my platform, I saw APVO coming up and looking like it was coming up to break VWAP. So I saw it around this area here, it had a first pullback, it pushed up, pulled back, and I took this pullback right in here for the push up and break through VWAP. I unfortunately didn't take that exit there. I let it pull back and then took this exit about here. Didn't get the 360 unfortunately, that's sort of where I was aiming for. That's why I didn't take that first exit. And then when it came up the second time, it looks like it was struggling at 350. So I took it off the table just below that, 349 I think I got. Yeah, so if we come back and look at the video, and here, I'll push play, it's double speed. So, yeah. Actually, I might speed it up a bit more. Yeah, so I looked at getting in here on this pullback. So pull back nicely there. I put my order in to fill 330. What was the fill on that? Can't remember, 331 I think. It did pull back a little bit further, but then pushed, and just looking for it to break through that previous green candle there at 340. Breaks through, nice breakthrough, pushed up to 349, and then it is struggling a little bit. There's a few bigger orders coming in on the ask, but so it bought up there to 350, 349, 349. So this is 5 times speed, so if I slow that down a bit, you might be able to see better the action on there. Actually, it's just gone past it. Yeah, so it pulled back and pushed back up again, but it's just struggling to break 350. 347. Yeah, so possibly should have taken it off the table there. Did have that bottoming tail coming up, so it's obviously buying up into that level. And then there's that big red candle there as well. But a bit of indecision on this one here. But I guess it's more bullish being a hammer. Showing that there are buyers buying it up. But just not enough to really break over that VWAP level. So I'll speed it up again here. So it eventually pulls back again, and it does go up to 355. So that would have been a good exit there at 355, 354. But once again, you know, there's more sellers on the ask and just not enough to punch through them. Pulls back, and I can't remember how far it comes back actually. Whether it came all the way back or... Yeah, it does pretty much come all the way back. So it really should have been out in that first break up there, and when it pulled back to the VWAP, probably should have taken it off the table there, because if it's a rejection off of VWAP, then there's a chance for it to actually go all the way back down, and I end up stopping out with a loss. So it did rally again, and this time I was a bit more clear where it could go to, and I thought, I'll take it off the table a bit earlier, which is pretty much what it did. Eventually. Yeah. So it breaks through there. This is at 10 times speed, so it looks like it's ripping, but it's not. It was pretty slow progress coming up to this one. And I'm going to slow it down there, just to 2 times speed. Yeah, so here it's still struggling to break over 349 and 350. So because it's struggling so much, and the trade's not really, it's not really looking that good to push through, I sold basically as it pushed back up into that resistance again. It did break, but it was a quick break up to 360, I think, and then it basically, see, there was a big seller up there, over 23,000 shares on the ask there. And yeah, so it was a good decision to get out there. I mean, I could have made a little bit more on the break. It did break eventually, but there was also the risk of not getting out and getting caught in the flush. So I was happy with that trade. In the end, I'm up $32 on the day. So it was, good base hit. And there it is, hit 360 and then pulled all the way back. I, for some reason, without thinking about it, bought the dip, thinking that it might push back straight away. I got in a little bit early on the dip. I should have waited a little bit. Well, to be honest, I shouldn't have taken it in this trade in the first place. It was struggling, it pulled back, and broke down through that level there, and I really should have waited to see where it was going to hold. And even though it's sort of buying up here, that's a big red candle there, and that's in the volume bar. So I should have waited until it had actually confirmed that it was going to be coming back up. And even then, it still might not have worked. Oh, it didn't work actually. But speed this up a bit. Yeah, so here it's still, and I should be stopping out. It's really, the trade's not working at all. I should be getting out on this candle. Like it's coming up here, but it's just struggling too much. And here I'm putting an order in, hoping it will just rip enough to get out at with a profit, around 10, 12 cents. But it's just, it pushes up to 28,330. And I think my entry here was like 333, 334, somewhere around there. And it just never really made it over 332. So really I should have been out break even. And now I'm down $30. So now I'm already, lost the profit I just made on my first trade. So here is another, another green push, and I should be getting out on this push here. But I don't. I hold this and keep holding it. And the problem with this is that at the same time, I'm going to speed this up, and see here it pushes back up again, and I should have taken that as an exit as it pushed higher there. But I'm still hoping that it will break up over that level. This is the problem, is that while I'm in this trade, TIVC has popped, and I can't buy because it won't allow me to buy that many shares on another stock while I'm in this trade. So I've missed that opportunity to buy in on TIVC on the front side of that move. I'm still stuck in this trade, and really as soon as I saw TVIC, I should have just got out of this trade straight away and bought in on TIVC. So here it really pushes down and breaks that level. It does pop up again, and that could have been my exit there. Should have been my exit. But, and here, that would have been a better exit. Instead of looking to get out up here, I should have just been hitting the sell button on the bid here, and I would have got out at 22, 20, around $20. That would have been a much better execution of getting out of that trade. But I didn't. I kept holding and holding, and now I'm down over $40 and pops back up there, but I'm still holding, and eventually I get out here at a $44 loss. So really held that for way too long, that trade. I should have been out for the small loss straight away when that trade wasn't going to work. Not taking that big loss there. It really was me being stubborn and looking at that trade, wanting it to work, and not being able to accept that no, it's a losing trade, I need to get out now. I could have got out at $10, $10 loss, and not held it for so long. And then if it looked like it was going to work, I could have gotten back in, and then I could have recovered the $10 and possibly more if that trade was going to work. If we look on the chart here as well, yeah, so that was that pullback. Was that? Yep. So this is here, and I got out, I think, here around 820 after it sort of pushed back up here. And then not too much longer later, look at that big red candle. If I'd still been holding, looking for that trade to work, and I'd been caught in that, then, that would not have been ideal. I would have lost, over, I was in around 334, I think, 334. So, that's over $2, nearly $2 a share. That would have been a loss of over $2 a share. So that would have been a huge loss. So, I've got to learn to cut those losers quicker, because if I cut it quicker and it's a smaller loss, then it's easier to recover that in my next trade, and I'm not trying to recover, a $40, $50 loss, which is, basically my daily goal. So got to work on that. That's a mistake that I really need to stop making. Part of why, beginner traders aren't profitable is they focus too much on their accuracy and not their risk reward ratio. So I need my winners to be bigger and more substantial, and my losers to be smaller, and not worry as much about my accuracy. I still want to be over 50% because I want to be more accurate than not, but if I can make my risk reward ratio much better and much bigger, so that I'm getting 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 on my risk reward ratio, then I'll be more profitable in the long run. Because at the moment, my losers are bigger than my average winners. Average losers are bigger than my average winners. So that's why in the long run, I will find it very difficult to become profitable. So something I definitely have to work on in the future. So that was my trade on APVO. I got out of that and moved over to TIVC, I think it was. And TIVC had already, I'll just bring that up on the chart. TIVC had already made that big move here off of $4, broke over 410, 412, pushed all the way up through the VWAP, broke through the VWAP straight away. This was a good entry here. Also a good entry here was on this first pullback. Sorry, I'll use the drawing thing. And through here around, what's that, 490 for the break of the whole dollar. And then I think there was a micro pullback around 4 at the VWAP as well. That could have been a good entry around there. For a push through to the whole dollar at $5. Bit messy through here, lots of topping tails on these pullbacks here, which possibly could have been an indicator not to take the trade or the trade here, because there's a lot of selling pressure and a lot of indecision between sellers and buyers. It did break though, and go up to 575, 574, somewhere around there. What is that? 573. Yep. So yeah, pulled back again, right back down to the VWAP, and then pushed again up over the VWAP. There's a couple breaks here off the VWAP that might have been a good trade as well. I missed that because I was still in the trade on APVO. I saw it here when it was breaking back up off of VWAP and it was pushing up to here. I did think about jumping in on this after it had broke up here, but because it was on the back side of this, in the shadow of this, I was not sure that I wanted to take it. I wanted to see what it did on the pullback. When it got up here on the pullback, once again it had these topping candles, and that looked a bit not good for me, so I didn't take that. Also, bigger red candle on the volume, and then it pulled back, and nice dip down to the VWAP, but it just looked difficult to trade this through this section here, and so I didn't trade it at all above the VWAP. I took a trade on it. If I go back to my video here, yeah, so that was the dip there where it came back down and dipped through VWAP, but I missed that. I did think about taking some trades here, but just couldn't get in. And then it broke down below VWAP. Sorry, I'm just scrubbing through here to find, and this was a possible trade. It's sort of coming into I guess ABCD pattern, or it's pulled back down, it's come back up, and then it's pulled back. It's testing this support level here again, and I did think about taking that if it confirmed, but it didn't. It broke down even further, and now, even though it's coming back up, I was a bit hesitant to get in. I eventually got in here at this level here, and I was expecting a pullback and then a push back over that level, and to break up through to VWAP. did it do that? I'm going to play it about 5 times speed here. So I got in there on the whole dollar at $5. I probably should have waited really for a pullback further and then confirmation that it was going. Like this candle here, sort of, I thought, oh, it's going to go. It's going to be okay. And then looking on level 2, there's sort of a bigger seller there with 2,300 shares. Not that massive, but yeah, it just wasn't, it pulled back and it was a little bit hesitant on going. It was struggling a bit. And I thought, well, we'll just give it a chance. But here again, I'm holding, I'm not stopping out at my stop. You know, and it's still coming back. And it's not working. My trade's not working. You know, I expected this to pull back here, maybe 1 or 2 candles, and then push up to the VWAP. But it's struggling. It's, you know, making lower lows, lower highs, and then it dips down here. And then the dip gets brought back up. And that's when I was thinking, oh no, it's going to come back up now. But it's still struggling. So, you know, now I'm just thinking about getting out of this trade. It hasn't worked. It's pushed back up here, and I might be able to get out sort of break even. And so it's sort of lighter volume here on the green candle, and now it's looking better. The volume's starting to come back in, and you know, it's pushed up to my buy-in price, and instead of waiting for it to break, it has sort of broken over here, only $1.98, but you know, that probably would have been where I should be getting out. But I put an order in and it pulls back again, and then I just put an order in there to get out where I thought it would fill on the up tick. But then it does break, and this is what I initially wanted. It was really, you know, a lot of the stocks today, I felt it was better to buy on the dip at the low, looking for a support line and buying there, and then letting the trade work. Because when buying it here on these pullbacks, a lot of the time it just didn't work and just struggled. And possibly too because I'm buying at the wrong time. You know, really I should be buying above the VWAP for a long trade. So these ones here looking for the break through the VWAP just weren't working very well, unless there was lots of volume coming into those, which I thought there was on this trade. To be honest, I thought there was some good volume coming in on those candles, but then the next 2 candles were kind of light, so maybe not. But then it breaks up to 516, and this is where I was sort of wanting to take my profit, was at the VWAP or higher, but because it struggled so much to get to the VWAP, that would have been a better, you know, that would have been an exit here. So that was the trade on TIVC. Coming into the open for today, I was going to trade TIVC, and I had a plan for TIVC, and that plan was to basically, when TIVC came into open, I was looking at it holding around the whole dollar. It sort of came into the open just under that, but I had it as if it was going to break the $5 price target, then I would look at getting in, because I thought that was the level that it would break, and then it would push up through to the VWAP. So my plan was to hold, not trade it for the first 2 or 3 minutes, let it settle, see what it what it was going to do, and then if it was breaking above that $5 mark, then I'd buy in. So this is what happened. It came into the open around 480. I was going to speed that up. And it broke here. It broke the $5 mark here. But it was still pretty indecisive. And this was only the first candle. So I wasn't going to buy that candle. I wasn't going to buy this candle because I wanted to give it a few candles in to see really what direction it was going. And then it brought up and it was good here. And then it broke again, and that's where I should have been in. I should have been on that third candle in there, or at least buying here when it broke up on VWAP. This is obviously a lot faster than real time, but I'll just play it at double speed. So those are the two entries that I should have taken, and I missed those entries. Should have been in here really at the VWAP. And then I put an order in for a dip because it was struggling a bit. I thought I could get a dip and then a fill higher, which was the case, but I did leave it a bit long. So I should have been getting out now. It's obviously not going to break over 560. Doesn't look like it's going to break. And then it dipped back down, and now I'm like, oh, I need to get out of this trade. This isn't going in the direction that I want it to go. I need to get out before it, flushes. So I've got my finger over the sell key, puts in a bit of a green candle here, and I thought, oh, it's going to go, but it doesn't go. It rejects again, and it rejects again. So now I place an order to sell around that level. And I was wondering if I should have just pushed the sell key on the bid. But I had placed an order at 551, just looking to get that price target. And it did fill, and straight away it flushed, straight after I filled. So lucky to get that fill, and I flicked over to ICCT and that because I just wanted to see what was going on. But yeah, look at that. It's gone down 70 cents a share. And if I hadn't got that fill, I would have been looking at taking quite a substantial loss. So that trade, even though it worked, was kind of risky. Whereas if I'd gotten in here at the VWAP, I probably would have taken that first exit at 560 and gotten out there. And then my last trade was on APVO after it had halted up and come up to the VWAP to test that, but pulled back, and it had pushed from the lows, and I thought, oh yep, there's some rising volume coming in here. I'll take the dip here and look for the pushback higher. It once again didn't look great. It started pulling back, and I'm actually looking at something else. I was looking at ICCT, but I'd missed that. I was trying to put some trades in on that, but yeah. So I'm still in this trade, I think. Oh no, I've sold it. Hang on, where are we? Yeah, here it is. So yeah, I basically got out there, small profit. That was okay. What was that? 14 cents on that one. So that was okay. Base hit again. All base hits today, but once again my loser. One of my losers was much bigger than what it should have been. And then I watched ICCT. I hesitated on that one. I'll just bring it up on the charts. Yeah, so ICCT, I saw this actually at the open here. It had popped up and I was watching it as it pulled back here a little bit, and I thought, oh no, maybe it's gone. But then it broke through that level at 348, and I came back and watched it through this level here again, and then it broke up from 350 up to $4, over $4 up to 489, and I thought about taking a trade on this around the $4 mark, but it sort of pushed up to 5, and then I thought I was just chasing it when it got to $5 and had these big pullbacks, and yeah, I just like taking the break on that is pretty rough. I had a good break here at sort of between 5 and 6, but by that stage I had finished for the day, and I didn't trade that at all. So I hesitated on ICCT, especially down here earlier on, you know, buying in here on this pullback on between, you know, $3 and $3.30. Could have been in here for the break of $3.50, break of this level here, previous high, and just looking for a push through, and that would have been a good trade. Yeah, up to $3.90. I definitely wouldn't have held the position all through that when I'm in profit, so I probably would have taken it up here around $3.70 or something like that. But you know, that would have been a good trade. But you know, hesitated, and you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. And that was it. That was all I really looked at this morning, stock-wise. So got stuck in that trade for a long time with APVO at the start, and that kind of reduced my opportunities to trade on TIVC. So I'll just bring up my stats, and today I took 5 trades, 3 in the green and 2 were red, and 60% accuracy. I had a $32.80 profit today, and you know, these are my trades here. So you know, it started off in the green, $32 on my first trade, so probably could have just called it a day after my first one. Took a small loss on the second trade, stopped out $12. That wasn't that bad. Actually, this is the wrong day, isn't it? No, it is the right day. Sorry. I was down $12 on my P&L. So down $12 after my $44 loss. Then I took another $4 loss on TIVC. And then I had my green trade on TIVC, which brought me up into the green again. And finally, my last trade on APVO brought me up to $32.80. So even though I'm up 80 cents, I probably would have been better off to have just quit after my first trade today with $32, because after the commissions come out on these ones here, I will probably make less than I would have if I just stuck with my first trade. Yeah, but that is mainly because of the $44 loss that I took. Instead of cutting that early here, you know, it really would have been better to have cut it early and taken a smaller loss on that, $10, then I would be up, you know, a bit more possibly. Also, if I'd taken it earlier, maybe I would have been up more because I would have been able to trade the front side of TIVC as it was pushing up through VWAP. So not only did I take a bigger loss, but I also had the opportunity loss as well by not being able to trade an actual stock that it's moving up in the right direction. So a green day, but definitely not my best trading. I need to be quicker at cutting losses and more confident in my setups. Small progress, but plenty to improve on. So, would you have taken that dip trade or cut it early? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying these daily recaps, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you again tomorrow. Hea popo.